Ba we grana weep ninny bong.
God, I don't know it. I can't say it back.
Give me an Energon goodie or I'm going to attack you.
I don't know what that is either.
It's okay, because if you would have given me an Energon goodie, I still would have attacked you.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Hello.
Hi, and welcome to Have You Seen? With Nick and Lance. And today, we're talking about The Transformers, the movie, 1986.
So what's the old show called? The Transformers?
It was.
Okay.
It was called The Transformers.
I guess maybe I'm just inundated by the more recent movies where it's just Transformers. That one, it was called The Transformers, the movie. I'm like, that sound like Transformers the movie or The Transformers movie sound okay. When you put The Transformers the movie, it's a little
It catches you a little off guard.
Yeah.
But it was. I think it was kind of like the whole. I think Transformers had like, they had their seasons of the show, and then I think there were like episodes that combined together to kind of make a movie or whatever.
Okay.
Or there were other Transformers-esque things that were out there. It's kind of like when Ghostbusters did a cartoon, and there was the Ghostbusters, which was two dudes and a monkey riding around in a car that talked.
Yeah.
That was the British version. And then when they made the American version of the Ghostbusters we know, they called it The Real Ghostbusters.
Okay, for the cartoon.
So they had to do that to set it apart.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about The Real Ghostbusters.
No.
But we could.
Yeah, possibly. I don't remember the cartoon.
It's bad.
Okay.
It's bad.
I remember the Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that was
Vaguely.
that had the chick in it.
Yeah, and like the dude in the wheelchair and like the kind of shaggy looking guy.
So-
Not quite shaggy, but kind of shaggy.
So when I said that it was bad, I was talking about the British version of the Ghostbusters.
Okay.
The Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, I thought was actually
I don't remember.
decent.
I don't remember.
I watched it because I was huge into Ghostbusters, and then the Extreme Ghostbusters, it was actually not horrible.
That's the one I remember a little bit more, but even still, not much.
Um,
It was at least on TV, just not a thing I was watching when I was younger.
I watched pretty much everything. Like I just loved cartoons, so like I'm still a huge cartoon guy. Elemental comes out this weekend, and I really want to go see it.
No, that's one I'm not super interested in.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's not a great place to talk about it, but I'm going to go see The Flash on Sunday, so I don't know if you want to go see The Flash.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, so comment down below if you think Nick should go see The Flash. All right, so.
But by this point in time, it's weeks later.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's weeks later, you could be like, yep, no one will be in the theater. I'll go see it. So,
Maybe.
So, yeah, The Transformers, the movie.
Yep.
The masterpiece. The legend. The best movie ever made.
Okay.
You're already locked in. I know you can't change your
Yeah,
number.
yeah.
So at the beginning, we're going to give the movies our ratings, what we thought. We're going to try and guess what each other's ratings are. And then we're going to go straight into spoiler territory. And I am going to talk all kind of spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
And I'm probably going to be asking questions because my range of knowledge of Transformers includes the first movie with Shia LaBeouf. I don't remember the rest of them. I've kind of like blocked them from my memory.
that's a good move.
The first episode of Transformers, the cartoon season 1, which I've also blocked from my memory because it just wasn't that impressive to me. And now this movie. And then all of the stuff that you and Shane happened to talk about on Transformers that I osmose. But for the most part, this is a thing that just in one ear out the other.
That's fine. Not everyone can like good stuff. Although you do like gargoyles, so I'll give you that point. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, but I will also warn you that this will probably be the first one that'll blow up and go viral, because I'll give you wrong answers, and people are like, "Excuse me, you fake fucking nerd."
Oh, give us wrong answers then. Correct us down below.
His name was Orion Pax before it was Optimus Prime. So, anyways.
Yeah.
So Nick,
Yes.
on a scale, this is going to kill me. It's going to break my heart. On a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being absolute dog shit and 10 being best movie ever, what would you give Transformers?
With
the movie?
5 being like nice and perfectly average. It's a 4.
It's a 4?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my joke. It was a joke.
Okay.
My real guess is behind it.
Okay.
I thought you'd give it a 3, but 4, I'll take it.
Lance, what about you?
Well, I mean, you just go ahead and show the 10.
Well, actually, I had the 11 up there.
Oh, no, no.
And then I was going to go like, oh, no, it's a joke.
Hey, we both had the joke. Nice. Yeah, I would give it 11 if that was within our range rating, but it is not.
That is only for cats.
Yes, that was only for cats. Go watch that video. It was fun.
It's funny. It just if you've never seen Cats, it doesn't matter where we are. It's April Fools. We were pretending to like cats. It's awful.
Yeah, it's. Don't think that we were gushing on it, please.
No. It's funny. We were being facetious.
Go watch it.
Facetious.
Go watch it because we had a lot of fun making that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers for the Transformers the movie, I guess.
We're heading into spoiler territory.
All right. So it gets boring, this movie, but the beginning at least goes hard, and I'm like, that's kind of fun. And then near the end, I think they've reached we've murdered all the old toys, and then they just stop killing the toys. So I'm like,
So they were still killing the toys. So in the beginning of the movie, you get the deaths of.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people.
Okay.
So to a kid, it is the Decepticon showing up and destroying your childhood. To me, it was just like he's blowing up toys. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. So in the beginning of the movie, they kill a bunch of Autobots. In the middle of the movie, middle of the movie, they kill a bunch of Decepticons, but then they just change them. So, like, if you were a kid that loved the Autobots, it's like, look at all your fucking heroes just die.
Yeah, they're dead.
And then the Decepticons are like, we'll just change them up.
Yeah, there's new ones.
Yeah. So, and then at the end of the movie, when Unicron is attacking, you see, I believe it's Thrust, Ramjet, and Dirge. They fly up to the mouth when they're, like, actually trying to shoot, and he just chomps them and fucking blows them up. So you get a couple more Decepticon deaths there. I think the movie was hard all the way through. I've got to disagree with you. The movie was pure gold from beginning to end. Yep. And the only reason I say that is because I watched this movie when I was 12 years old in the theater with my father, which was something that was very special for me because my major takeaway from that movie is I loved it from beginning to end. But when Spike says shit, my dad, I remember he looked at me in the theater, and then he kind of looked back at the screen, and then later on you get the Ultra Magnus trying to open the Matrix, and he says, "Open, damn it, open!" And my dad went, "Would you say this movie was rated again?" And I'll never forget my dad leaning over and saying that shit to me. It was hilarious. It's my childhood.
Yeah, and it's not my childhood. So,
yeah,
and I don't think it. I mean, it's between the third and fourth season, or between the second and third season, something like that.
I believe it was after the second season.
Okay, so it's
yeah
a super long episode in the middle of a show I've never watched and never cared to watch. Therefore, I think a lot of context was missing. With my limited knowledge of, like, I knew the Transformers lived on, like, Cybertron or whatever, but I thought that's where they came from. I thought they lived on Earth, and then these guys just bouncing between Cybertron and Earth like it was no big thing. Then when they go to Earth, they've already got, like, a Transformer city, and I'm like, it's not even Earth at this point in time. They're just in some Autobot city.
So
that apparently sucks. Like, so the Autobots in this show, in this movie, they're awful.
Explain.
They get their asses kicked all the fucking time.
Yes.
So you got a ship of them flying, and the doors bust out, and Decepticons come in and kill them. Okay, cool. They got surprise attacked. Hot Rod or whatever sees, like, the hole, and he's like, oh shit, and they start shooting. I'm like, okay, the ambush is not going to go quite as great. But then the few Decepticons, what was there, like 10? 15?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 16, 17 of them.
Fuck up an entire Autobot city with, like, turrets and shit like that. Like, near the end of that thing, that city was fucked.
Well, they didn't have enough people to operate it. So this is one thing I will say. So that's kind of a weird part because basically the city turns into its own Transformer as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I believe it was Metroplex, and so he turns into his own robot. But, like, for some reason, I guess he wasn't sentient at that point or something like that.
Okay.
So it was a city that had a bunch of defenses, but they didn't have anyone to work the defenses. So, like, it started shooting the cannons at the beginning, but, like, you saw where they were pushing the gigantic fucking Arquebus to, like, shoot at Devastator. So they got caught off guard and they were undermanned.
Okay.
So, but I'm not making excuses for him.
Okay. I mean,
But I mean, also keep in mind that the entire movie they were getting attacked by one thing and then another and then another and another. So they were an army. They never had a long rest, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, they made like Unicron, like super broken. Like you're not going to win against this thing without a DM Fiat, or I guess without the MacGuffin.
Yes. Which was the Matrix.
Yeah, and it was nice because like as a planet or whatever, he like goes up to a moon or whatever and just destroys it, whatever. It was nice of him to go to Cybertron and decide I'm going to turn into a weaker robot version of me, so that they have a chance against me.
So, in my opinion, that was his version. Like basically, when Galvatron was like, "With this, I'm going to basically fuck up your shit." You know, I become the master. I think that was Galvatron basically being like, "You just think I'm a planet that roams around. I'm going to turn into my robot form, and I'm going to make you watch me pick the wings off this fucking fly." And then the legs, and then the head. So I think he was torturing him by basically dismembering it piece by piece.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the robot version of him, I don't know. I mean, maybe it looks cool or whatever, but
He's still badass.
I don't even know if he looks cooler than just the big planet with the spikes, because that was kind of cool. With the field that could like draw things in. He was cooler that way. And then he goes to Cybertron, turns into a weaker version of himself with weak points, so that people can bust out his eyes. It's like just stay the planet, man. This would have been over in like a couple seconds.
Yeah, but
I mean, he was eating moons in like 20 seconds. He's like showing up and he's been like knocked out.
But you can't sell a toy if he just stays in the planet version.
Yeah, well, yeah, that comes down to it. This is a commercial.
Yeah, well, I mean, also so they didn't make a Unicron toy for like a long time, and then eventually they made like a couple of. I've got a couple of the smaller ones they made for like the Energon series, and then like another one, but I never got the $600 like Hasbro HasLab one. I really wanted it, but I could not justify it. Amber would have left me. She would have completely divorced me and left me if I would have bought that thing. But I so wish I would have bought it now, because that thing is like selling anywhere between $1,600 and $2,100 now. That would have been a nice keepsake for Jack.
But you also wouldn't have sold it.
Well, like I said, it would have been a nice keepsake for Jack. I know eventually with all the Transformers I have downstairs, every single one of them is in the box. A lot of people think I'm fucking crazy for doing that because I buy the toy and I keep it in the but they're not for me. They're for my son. I'm hoping that one day he'll be like, you know, like one of my fondest memories of my father, and I know this is going to sound fucking materialistic as hell, but like my father one year for my birthday, no, Christmas, it was Christmas, brought me a big box, and when I opened it, there was like 50 Star Wars characters in there that were all in the package, and then like the Wampa playset, and then there was like the Endor playset that was in there.
Okay.
Like my dad bought me this giant box of Star Wars toys, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was one of the coolest fucking gifts I ever got. Flash forward 3 years where I was tying my fucking Star Wars and G.I. Joe figures to bottle rockets and shooting them off in the backyard so I can watch them explode. I was so fucking dumb. But I want that to be something for Jack. Like, I want 1 year to just be like, here's a bunch of fucking toys. Now, you said something that haunted me, and it still haunts me to this day. I was still buying the Transformers and everything, and you said, what if he grows up and he's not into it? That kind of fucked me up. Because, you know, I'm into it. I'm wondering if he'll be into it. And they say that your kids get into the things that, you know, you're into. You know, if you, like, pump them up for it, sometimes they'll gravitate towards things that you like.
So my father took us to go enjoy the things he enjoyed doing. I hate all of those things. He likes camping. I hate camping. He likes hunting. I hate hunting. He likes fishing. I hate fishing. He took us to do all of those things. I don't ever want to do another one of them. If I never sleep in a tent again, I'll be happy.
I mean, yeah, I can agree. I can agree with you for the most part. I do like camping.
I hate camping so much.
But I know my wife. Like, I know Amber's version of camping is being in a hotel with a black and white TV. So, you know.
I don't want to do that either. I just want to stay home.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. My dad tried to do the same thing with me when I was collecting comic books when I was younger and, like, collecting Transformers and shit. I was buying, like, cards, like the Batman movie cards and stuff like that came out. And I remember my dad was like, here, have a pack of baseball cards. And I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And they're like, oh, it's baseball players. And the only people I know back then was the Atlanta Braves. Because my grandmother used to watch the Atlanta Braves, Dale Murphy and all those guys. And And like he bought me a pack of them, and I was like, cool, all right, back to the Marvel cards.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
back to the good stuff.
Yeah, and then I remembered, just to like put a finer point on it, he went out and bought me, I think it was the 19. It was one of the first Upper Deck sets. It was like a complete set wrapped. I want to say it was the 86 set or something like that, but I might be wrong. He bought that for me. He's like, here, this is going to be something that's really cool. And I was like, cool, thanks. And I put it in a closet and I never looked at it again. But you're right. I mean, it's entirely possible that he might grow up and just be like, I don't like any of this shit. Mm-hmm. But my hope is that this stuff will appreciate and people like me will see that stuff.
Maybe.
And it'll be rare and he can sell it on an online toy store and like start himself a business or buy himself a car or something. Mm-hmm. It's dumb. I know it's dumb. Mm-hmm. But I like to give people stuff that I like. And I like toys. So it's like for you, for Christmas I bought you that fucking Demona.
Yep. And I took her out of the package.
And
put her right on my shelf.
And brought over camera footage of him like, look, she's out of the fucking package.
Oh, yeah, I got a picture of it.
Look at all these fucking angles that I've got her out of the package.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. If it's a gift, it's not mine anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get some of those things, but like for myself. But usually if I'm buying something, I don't want it to have any articulation. Because I'm buying it for the the aesthetic of it. Mm. And I feel like articulation, it makes the thing look worse. I'm not going to pose it. Because especially like a lot of the things like that, you try to move the shoulder and it's like I'm not moving that again because it makes that hard ass plastic sound. Like I'm just not going to mess with it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather a thing be done and be like just a statue.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And yet you show it to me again.
No, it's not going to show up on camera, but look. It's Demona out of the package. Yeah, look at Demona out of the package with like a second sister, or no, is she second sister? And Purgatory and stuff like that in front of him. Should I take out of the package?
You disappoint me.
Oh yeah, and it goes right up there. I'm not buying stuff like that, or I'm not getting stuff like that for anyone but me.
Hmm?
And looking at it and like trying to see like all the detail on like these things or whatever, you kind of gotta like. I want to see it. I put it up on a shelf where I can look at it.
Well, so the Funkos are different because there's not.
I don't even like Funkos.
Well, I made us stop buying them for the longest time, and then I went right back to them because they actually held their worth. But like the funny part is that I think we have like 50 Funko Pops that we bought back in the day. Mm-hmm. I have no fucking clue where they're at. Like no clue where they're at, and we had like some really old shit that I know has got to be worth like $300-400. But anyways, we're talking about Transformers the movie. So
we're also talking about toys, which is they're pretty much
hand in hand,
pretty much right there.
Yeah, but this is just this movie is not only comfort food, but this is for animation my #1 movie of all time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I love this movie. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's up there with like Trigun and like there's other stuff that I really really dig. But we'll talk about those at another time.
Yeah.
Because we're thinking about doing a new series. But yeah, I kind of knew that you weren't going to dig it. And this was one that I danced around for a while because I was like, Nick's going to hate the movie. So like, why subject them to it?
No, it's not even that. It's not that I hate it. It's about a thing I'm not into.
Sure.
So watching, it's like an hour and 20-ish minutes of...
Hour 25,
yeah. Of stuff I'm not into. Mm-hmm. Assuming I already know everything about it. Just kind of like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why we're here. I don't know why we're fighting Sharkatrons, and I don't know why they have legs and arms. That kind of just defeats the purpose of them being a shark. Because they're swimming around. I'm like, I bet these things will look cool. Then they show it, and I'm like, no, they don't.
Yeah, you got to get on land.
Well, you're supposed to be a shark, and then like you jump out of the water, and then you transform into your man-form form, and then you can walk around. Like Optimus Prime doesn't have legs when he's a truck. He turns into the truck, and he's a truck. And then when he wants to be a robot, then he turns into it. If you are just a robot-legged shark, and you turn into a robot man, but still with shark teeth, then you're not transforming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you are.
You're like going from like I go from bear form to polar bear form. It's like it's the same thing. But see, a grizzly bear and a polar bear are different. Sure.
Am I crazy or is he making sense?
I mean, sure, but it would be cooler if he was just a shark. And then like maybe like the back tail split open, and those are the legs, and then they turn into robots.
So they have those.
Yeah, those are cool. That's cooler than the Sharkatrons as they were, because those ones look kind of like piranhas.
I disagree. The one that I can think of looks like a tiger shark. You talking about the Sharktacons?
Oh yeah, the Sharktacons.
Yeah, they kind of look like piranhas.
Yeah.
But like, keep in mind they're made by sadistic weird asses.
Sure.
You know, the Quintessons are like still fucking. They're crazy. They're weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's their design is not necessarily bad. It's just I'm like they said Sharkatrons. I'm like, oh, I bet these would be cool. And then they showed them, and I'm like, no.
Sharktacons.
What am I saying?
You said Sharkatrons.
Sharkatrons. Yeah, it's the same thing. Sharktagons.
So.
Sharktagons. That's which one's right?
So. Just let me get this straight.
Okay.
When we started this video, you're like, I'm just going to piss off Lance as much as I can.
No. It's a movie. I'm reviewing it as a movie, and I was expecting like, oh, this is going to be cool. Like the opening credits showed up, and like it had Rekgar, is that the guy's name? Mm-hmm. Like Eric Idle. I'm like, oh shit, Eric Idle. I'm kind of looking forward to that. And then they put this weird fucking effect over his voice that it wasn't until like I didn't understand most of what he was saying until like later, and he started talking. I'm like, oh shit, that's Eric Idle. Like, why are you hiding it behind this weird whirring noise? I can't understand him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you on that one. They did cover up his voice for the most part, but they gave it that weird synth kind of sound to it.
I mean, at least I know Orson Welles had like effects on his voice, but I could understand him, and he sounded good. I mean, even if it was like the dying breaths of a man like 5 days before he passed away or whatever.
Yeah, that was the last thing he did.
Yeah. I mean, it still sounded fine.
But I mean, this movie had so much star potential in it too. And I'm going to pull out. I'm going to say the ones that I know off the top of my head, and then I'm going to have to read some of the other ones. And don't look at the IMDb's. But I'll say the ones off the top of my head I already know. So you had Judd Nelson as Hot Rod and Rodimus. You had Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron. Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. You had, I think his name is Greg Berger as Grimlock, but that's not a name that most people would know unless you watch the cartoon. You had Ultra Magnus was fucking Unsolved Mysteries. God, why am I blanking on his name? I fucking... All right. So... Yeah.
It's most of the people in the cartoon I'm not going to know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
The only thing I know Peter Cullen from is from Transformers, and only because you've said his name like 1,000 times.
I think it's Robert Stack. Is that his name?
Oh, and when I was looking through the credits, I saw there was a guy named Scatman something or other.
Scatman Crothers.
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Robert Stack, yes. Robert Stack was Ultra Magnus. You have Frank Welker as the voice of Megatron, Soundwave, Rumble, but mainly Megatron. You had Orson Welles as Unicron. You had Lionel Standard as Cup. Let's see.
As Cup?
Yes, he was the old guy.
Okay.
Grimlock, get your noodle out of my face. Yeah. Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron. Judd Nelson as Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. You had John Machetta Jr. as Blur. That was the Micro Machines man.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You had Casey Kasem as Cliff Jumper. Stan Jones as Scourge. Eric Idle as Rekgar. And that would be Scatman Crothers as Jazz. Peter Cullen was the voice of Optimus Prime and Ironhide. I had no idea for the longest time that he was Ironhide. Because at the beginning of that movie, it was like, every time I look at a screen, my circuit sizzles. When are we going to start busting Decepticons chops? That was a scene between Ironhide and Optimus Prime. He was talking to himself at the very beginning of that movie.
Now, how many Mel Blancs did he talk to himself?
That's true. But like, I think Mel Blanc was just voice of everything in that cartoon. So, but that's all the noteworthy ones. This was just a cartoon that. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You can. I was going to ask a question.
Sure.
Is this an American movie, or was this a Japanese movie that they dubbed?
American.
Okay. So
Yes.
there's not an original Japanese voices for these.
There might be. I'm not aware of it.
But it would be a dub of the American version because it was American first. Okay.
So I think I could be wrong. I wish that my buddy Stuart was here because he knows everything about the fucking Transformers. I knew a lot about them when I was younger, and then I lost touch with them and found drugs, and then I went back to Transformers. But I'm purely in a collecting capacity. I don't know any of the Tomy Takara stuff. It's like I'm somewhat detached from them now. But
you're into it. You're into a new type of drug.
This unopened. Oh, it's so unopened. It smells so good. No, you're right. But I've also got an addictive personality, and this is gambling, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Especially when what they got called chases or something like that. Like you open up a package, there's one that's slightly different enough to make people go to Targets and going, I must have the chase.
Yeah, and the thing is that so this one earlier tonight I Amazoned it just to see. Because that was a point I was going to make. When they killed off Optimus Prime, then they bought him back. Well, it's because fucking 12-year-olds lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
I wept when they killed Optimus Prime in the movie.
They killed him so early in the movie.
I wept like a baby.
So I know that he died in this movie. I thought it was going to be like later, but they get him out of the way real early.
Yep.
And like they fucking drain the color out of him and like he's dead. Whereas Magnus, what's that name?
Yeah, Ultra Magnus, he just
Ultra
blows
Magnus,
up.
he blows up and like, oh, they blew him up and they're just like, I put him back together. And he's saying, I'm alive again. I'm like, what? I just do that with Optimus.
So they established in the canon that there's a thing called the Spark, which is the soul. And the thing that got me about it is that Optimus Prime loses the Spark, he dies. Okay. He comes back later as Nemesis Prime. So like he goes out into space. Something finds him. I think it might have been Unicron. I don't know what the whole thing is. But basically he comes back as Optimus Prime who lost his memory.
To come back as evil.
Yes, he comes back as evil Optimus Prime as him.
And isn't the
Nemesis Prime.
The Gen cartoon and the Gen 1 cartoon?
It might be. Like I said, this is all stuff when I wasn't watching it.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I watched like the original seasons that came out of the cartoon on TV, and then I just kind of pulled back. When I ran into the Stewart first time in Target, and we started talking about Transformers, I'm like, I'm going to dust this fucking nerd with my Transformers knowledge. And he was like, this Transformer? This Transformer? And I felt like a fucking idiot. To the point where I thought he was lying about shit. I was like, this guy's fucking just making names up. And I went out in the parking lot, and I'm looking him up, and I'm like, fuck. And as I found out, he was talking about the Tomy Takara stuff. So you had Hasbro in America who was making Transformers, and then Tomy Takara who was making Transformers in Japan. And then sometimes they would switch off. But like Victory Saber was a Transformer that was in Japan that never made it over here until they did a HasLab version of him. I'd never heard of him. And Stuart was like, dude, you got to get this fucking toy. It's like dope. And I was like, really? I've never even heard of it. And he's like, yeah, no, it's dope. You need to pick it up. But like if the Transformers in America and the Transformers in Japan got into a fight, the Japanese Transformers would fucking destroy the American because they are so over the top.
Really?
Yeah, like they're over the top, like, giant robo fucking like powers and shit, like stuff shooting out of shit, and they dust them. But I forgot what my original point was, but
so you're talking about Nemesis.
So I looked this one up I bought this one for $25 on Amazon, and now they're selling for like $115.
Okay.
So as they get more and more scarce, hopefully more and more people will be looking for them, and hopefully one day Jackson will be able to sell this for $250, $300. If the fucking market doesn't bottom out on them, like Beanie Babies, which was something that Amber said to me that fucked me up. But I mean, they're toys. Toys don't lose value.
I don't know if I'd want to play with my dad's toys. I don't know. As people our age pass, or like get older and pass, is the next generation going to care about this stuff? And I guess with them still putting out Transformers movies, that helps. But then you're going to be buying, I don't know, the older version of it. Like, do you want to buy Gen 1 Simpsons swag, or would you rather have like the way the Simpsons the way you remember them? Because remember, like when the Simpsons first came out, they were fucking weird looking. So when you get into Transformers, like the movies, and the way they like look all different now, and then you're gonna be like, here's what Grimlock used to look like, and they're like, that Grimlock's dumb. I want to look at this Grimlock, like the weird super complex one or whatever.
I mean, if you look at the old school Transformers, they looked fucking terrible when they were in their robot modes. Optimus Prime had 8 points of articulation before he was in the robot. You swung down the legs, you pulled out the fucking arms, and you flipped over the head. That was Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
They looked terrible, but it didn't matter. I fucking loved them.
They're meant to be played with, and you can't put like 25 points of articulation on a toy for like a 4-year-old. You need to go. He's a truck. Now he's a man.
Yeah.
It's like the legs down, arms out.
They figured that out.
Yeah.
So there's things now called smash changers where it's a robot and you just go and like it basically presses down into a car.
Yeah.
But like James's son Avery liked Transformers. He liked Bumblebee, so I bought him a Transformer for like his fourth birthday, and I gave it to him. And then like when his next birthday came up, I called James and I was like, "So like what Transformer is he into now?" And he said, "Don't buy him a Transformer." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because that thing had like 32 different points of where it changed." And like I couldn't figure it out, so I had to pull up YouTube videos, and he was getting frustrated with me that I couldn't transform it. He's like, "Please don't buy him another one," because he was so mad at me. And I was like, "Did he like the toy?" And he's like, "Yeah, he loves the toy. We just can't figure it out."
It's too complex.
Yeah, well, they're puzzle boxes.
Yeah.
You know, but I thought I was doing something nice, and I ended up just basically the equivalent of buying somebody a rubber chicken for an ADHD kid. You know.
All right, so it's you buy someone a puzzle box with candy in it. You're like, "Here you go, there's candy inside." It's like, "Man, I want the candy. Give me the fucking candy. Give me the fucking candy."
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just it's just my childhood. I knew you weren't going to like the movie, but what I'm hoping is that other nerds like me, we call ourselves cybers. That's gross. We don't do that.
I hope not.
No, I don't even know if there's like a fucking term for it or whatever. But
you're not Trekkies.
Yeah, Formers, roll-out-icons. I have no idea.
Is there a name for Transformers fans? Let us know down below.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, I'm hoping that other nerds like show up for the movie because it's getting popular again. For some reason, it's rolling back around. But to answer your question, do you want to play with your dad's Transformers? It'd be the same question of if you came in on 2nd or 3rd edition D&D and you had the opportunity to buy the original books by Gary Gygax. Would you want them?
No.
See, I would.
I'm never going to play them, and it would just be me. Especially if they were given to me, like my father had these and he gave them to me. I'm like, "Oh, cool," and I might flip through and go, "Oh man, these are an interesting idea. I can see the bones of what I like came from, and that's interesting." But then I'd put them on a shelf and go, "My dad gave those to me." I guess the alternate thing would be like, "Here's 1st edition D&D, $500." I'm like, "Oh, screw you! I don't need it. I'm not going to play it."
Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I agree with you. But to me, it's a horrifying thought. Mm-hmm. Like, if he's not into the stuff I was into, which I get. Mm-hmm. But it's like, Amber and I were sitting on the couch the other night, and he wants to watch dinos. Mm-hmm. And now he's been asking for baby dinos. And I'm like, I don't even think that's a thing.
Have you shown him
Land Before Time?
Land Before Time?
Mm-hmm. Okay. He's seen the movie, and he's seen the other movies, and he's seen the TV show.
Okay.
Like, all the episodes are up on the thing, and he's just fucking sick of it. And I'm like, dude, this is literally what you're asking for. This is baby dinos. And what I've determined is my kid's taste in cartoons just fucking blow right now. Like, it's terrible. He wants to watch Morpho, and he wants to watch baby dinos, ASMR videos of people playing with toys where they're like...
So it's just videos of people playing with toys, making noises for the toys?
Pretty much. Somebody's building Jurassic Park, what looks like Legos, and like they're just kind of putting them together. Jackson's taste in cartoons blow goats right now, and I hate watching them, but we watch them because it makes him happy.
Yeah.
Because like I tried to show him Avatar. I fucking love Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's too. Was he 2?
Yeah, but it's colorful, and they're shooting flames and air and shit. And I was hoping, like, I'm not expecting him to follow the storyline. Like, is Sokka going to find the fuck? Like, I don't expect him to do that, but I expect him to like really kind of dig, because even the opening is like Earth, fucking wind, fire, water. You know, like
heart,
and
oh planet.
Yeah, but like that's mean. Don Cheadle.
Everyone's a tree.
That was such a fucked up bit. But like that beginning, I was hoping he'd be like, "Oh, cool, yeah." Mm-hmm. I played him the first 10 minutes of that show, and he was like, "Mm."
It's slow in the beginning. I mean, it is a story show with occasional bits of entertaining stuff. Mm-hmm. You've got to throw him movies in which toys are fighting toys constantly. Yeah. It's like, I mean, this thing is just kind of like they go to a trash planet and like, man, little guys are coming out. Now they're driving on. There you have robots driving on other robots, which is just a whole other thing I don't want to get into because that's creepy.
Oh, like the Junkions?
Yeah, it's like I turn into a bike and you get on my back and you ride me. was like,
Why is that weird?
That's just weird.
Why? Like their ships. Like you were asking, like the ships. What do the ships eat? Mm-hmm. Well, the ships eventually become robots.
Yes.
Like the Nemesis, the Ark that the Transformers fly in, they made a toy for it recently. The Nemesis, they made a toy for it that's coming out soon. Mm-hmm. Like all that stuff, they find ways to make them transform.
The robots interacting with each other, like, get inside me, and all that's, it's weird. Like, Soundwave and the other Boombox one,
Yeah.
like, they just kind of open up their chest and spit out tapes. And I'm like, okay, are these like just like little pets or whatever? But then they start talking with each other. And I'm like, okay, no, they're sentient. And it's like, hey man, can I climb in your chest and just hang out? And he just kind of turns into a tape and hangs out in his chest and just kind of chilling in there.
I think you're just thinking too deep about it.
I'm an adult. Like, what is it? What is he doing in that man's chest?
Well, like, look at it from like a kid's point of view. Like, how awesome was that to like get Soundwave when you were a kid and it came with 2 tapes? So it's like you have the boombox and you can open the thing up and put a tape in.
That's cool, but I imagine it'd be like, you could just be like, bam, cat, and you'd be like, eh. I'm like, okay, cool. He's got little pets in him. Mm-hmm. But then he pops them out and they turn into like little guys, and they're like, fuck you, man, and doing like a little slam thing. I'm like, they're smart. Okay, that's weird. And how come like, I just don't understand Transformers, because like you've got Grimlock and like the Dinobots, and I'm like, are these the same as Transformers? Because these guys are dumb. Why are they dumb? Why are the dinos dumb?
So I can explain that real fast.
Okay.
The Transformers themselves built the Dinobots to like combat. They found like fossils and basically built the Dinobots themselves, and they didn't really have minds. They didn't have sparks. They were just kind of mindless. And they were just violent robots.
Okay.
And then they did a young Frankenstein on them, where they basically put on the helmets and tried to impart some of their knowledge to them to give them a little bit of thinking ability, but they kept it low because I think, and this is just me wondering, if they made them too smart,
would they overthrow them?
They'd overthrow them because.
So is this the Geth?
Well, I mean, you even see it in the movie where fucking Grimlock's like, me not dancer, me king.
Yeah.
Like he was just basically, he was the self-proposed king, and then I think it was one of the IDW comic book lines. He basically just straight up like obliterated everybody in his way, put a fucking crown on, and was like, "I lead the Autobots. Step to me," and like nobody would.
And it just also made me like you make Transformers and they're dumb to the point where Blur's like, "We're dying. Get on the ship, please." And like, "I don't want to get on the ship." Like, okay.
Well, they wanted to fight.
That's just kind of like, man, get on the ship. It's like, come on, get on the ship, you dumbass. Why would you make it stupid?
Yeah, they didn't want to run.
So is that how Transformers replicate? Do they build other Transformers and like jam a spark in them?
So, from my understanding,
Yes.
Some Transformers are made, but for the most part, they already kind of exist. But like, you don't see them get made or get born or come over from Cybertron. A lot of them are just there, like they just show up. The lore behind it is supposed to be Cybertron was at war, Decepticons and Autobots, they formed their own. The Transformers at war made their own factions. The bad guys call themselves Decepticons, good guys call themselves Autobots.
Yep.
And then the Autobots were getting the shit kicked out of them. So they found like basically a space bridge, came to Earth, because they shot the Ark through it, and came in at terminal velocity, crashed into the side of a fucking mountain, and then they just laid there for like millions of years.
Okay.
Like dormant. And then they finally kind of woke up one day when the Ark kind of switched itself back on and started scanning stuff around it. And like basically it found a truck and found a car and found this and found that. So that's where they started getting their forms.
So I guess kind of like the first Transformers movie where they're just like formless robots. Mm-hmm. And then they discovered trucks and that's why they turned into trucks.
It was a Michael Bayism. Like they showed up, like Orion Pax, and I don't know if he ever had a form, but they just recently made a toy for him. Mm-hmm. But they had their Cybertronian forms, and then when they came here, they took on generic.
So back a million years ago, they weren't on Cybertron driving around as trucks?
They were.
Okay.
They would be able to transform. They just didn't look. They looked like space vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah, like
it wasn't an Optimus Prime, that version of a truck back on Cybertron.
Yeah, it was more of a blocky looking, kind of triangular looking Mack truck.
Okay.
Kind of a form. Like they kind of stay close to what they transform into.
Same general shape. But...
Yes. Yeah. Orion Pax, I think, turns into Cup in the re-release that they just put out. So he looks like a truck with like a pickup truck. He looks like Cup.
No, I don't
The
know.
old guy, the blue.
You say the old guy. I know he's the green one. I don't know what any of these things transform into.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, they murdered a bunch of them. I don't know what any of them transform into. Like any of the ones on the ship, they just kind of showed up and started blasting them. I'm like, oh, shit, I guess we're murking people. If I knew who these were and I was a kid, this might be traumatic, but I don't know. So whatever.
Yeah, Ratchet was a van. Ironhide was a van. Prowl was I think a cop car that, like, I think it was Camaro or something like that. And Brawn was an Outback, like an SUV.
Okay. And Cybertron's a gun, or not Cybertron, Megatron's a gun for some reason.
Because the original toys, like Transformers, were never anything that kind of got made. It was kind of like they took other toys that failed, stuck them together.
He turns into a gun that other people fire, and that seems inefficient because apparently he's got a barrel on his arm that he can just fire. So he should just do that. So
the original toy turned into, I think it was a Russian Luger.
Okay.
Or not a German Luger. And it had a scope you could put on the top. It had a silencer you could put on the tip. And then it had like a little armrest that you could put on your shoulder. And when you transformed Megatron, you put the fucking spyglass, you put the sight on his arm, and that became his cannon.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he was murking people with that. He should have just been that instead of, because now everyone else can like shoot their own guns. But when you turn into a gun, now someone else has to shoot you. And now you've taken a soldier off the field.
Well, he's three times more powerful. So
when he's a gun, as opposed to what he's just.
So it's
he was shooting people and killing them, so he's good enough.
Yeah, but it was like also Galvatron when he was shooting at Hot Rod, or when he was shooting the other guys, he'd do them and do damage. But it's like he would do 3d6 damage when he shot his cannon as a robot, but when he would transform, it was like he was getting crits.
Okay.
So.
But at least he could shoot it when Galvatron transformed, he could fire himself.
Yes, because he was just a mobile cannon.
Yeah, when he was Megatron, someone else had to fire him.
Someone realized that eventually. Like don't get me wrong, I have a G1 Megatron downstairs that I love. But then I think someone finally went, we can't sell kids guns.
No, you can't. But it's not going to be as cool as for a kid because you've got Megatron that's this big, and he's going to turn a gun like this big, and your other Transformers are this big. You can't put that gun in that Transformer's hand because.
Well, it's also the same as like Astro Train is the same size as like all the other Transformers, but when he turns into a shuttle, they can all walk into him.
I mean, which is fine. Like in a show or whatever, he gets bigger, and Optimus Prime's back truck, whatever disappears, whatever. It's more of the toy version of it. If he turns into a gun as a toy, he's going to be a toy you can wield, not a toy the Transformers can wield. And in the show, the other Transformers are wielding said gun, so you want your toys to be able to be wielded by the other.
So they fixed that.
Okay. Did they put the transform version of him in the box so they could put it in the hand of someone else?
So they made little Megatron guns. So like certain Transformers, when they transform, you could put the little Megatron gun in the hand.
But then that's a separate. You've got your toy, you got your Megatron version, then you got your gun.
But it came with something.
Sure,
like it wasn't like they didn't sell you a tiny Megatron gun for like $5.
And did he still transform so the kid could wield the gun, and then also the robot could wield the gun, or was it just a Megatron figure and a little gun figure?
I think it was just a gun figure.
Okay, so he didn't transform?
No.
Okay.
It was just a plastic piece that they sold. I think it was the Super 7 series. They made like, tongue-in-cheek stuff. Like, there's a cartoon, the Transformers cartoon. The comic book. They had a character named Circuit Breaker that was like fucking awesome. But they couldn't figure out anything to do with her because she was basically a chick that had like metal grafted to her that could shoot like fucking lightning. But they couldn't do anything with her, and I think recently they started trying to like fit her into games and cartoons and stuff like that. So I think she might actually be a bot now.
Okay.
And then they had one episode of a Transformer. It wasn't a Transformer. It was an assassin bot named Nightbird. That was basically, it was like a Transformer killer. It was supposed to like seek them out and basically kill them. And like it was a straight up ninja.
Okay.
And like it was creeping around the base, like fucking executing things. It could not transform. Eventually, they adapted her and made her basically turn into RC's form.
Okay.
So RC's repaint was Nightbird, and they made it look ever so slightly different with a different paint job. And then this new movie that came out, Rise of the Beast Machines, Rises of the Beasts. Don't come after me in the comments. They made a Nightbird.
You went to see that last week, or I guess a few days ago, whatever, right?
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Okay.
Okay, let me change that. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Beast Wars was not my jam. Like when I was a kid, I was literally, I'll go ahead and admit it, I was fucking truck, not monkey guy back in the day because that's what I grew up with. But I've since changed my mind on that because it's like you said, the stuff that your dad likes, maybe you don't like. Beast Wars came out after the original Transformers.
Yeah, so it was the new generation's Transformers, and you just wanted Optimus Prime to be a truck, not an Optimus Primal monkey.
And there's a lot of people who fucking love that, and I am stoked. If you're into the thing I'm into, I don't care what it is. Like, I don't care what it is. I want to talk to you about it. I'm not going to be as knowledgeable on that stuff.
It's at least that's the same. If you're playing with those things together, I mean, they work together. You can have Optimus Prime and Optimus Prime will fight each other or something. That's fine.
I just thought it was weird. Like, I just thought it was really weird. And like in this movie, they addressed it kinda because like Optimus Primal shows up, Prime basically sees him and he's like, stand the fuck down, and like all the Maximals come out and like pin down the Transformers, and then he introduced himself as Optimus Primal, and Optimus Prime's like, what the fuck? And he was like, I was named after you. You know, so, you know, you are a hero on our planet. I was named after you.
Oh, they're from a different planet then.
Yeah, so I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't even know if that's true in the cartoon or not.
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember Beast Wars a little bit more because that was on TV when I was a kid and there was other stuff I wanted to watch. So I think I've probably caught parts of it. Probably the end of it when it's like, I'm waiting for this show to end. So the show I want to watch afterwards will actually come on. So I'd get like little bits and I'd just be like, all right, wrap it up, monkey.
Yeah.
I want to watch the thing I want to watch. But I think I don't know, animals that turn into people is more interesting to me than trucks that turn into people. Just because I don't like trucks. I don't like vehicles.
See, and I do.
Yeah.
Like, so my favorite Transformers tracks, and like my favorite car is a Corvette.
Is that what he turns into?
Yep, he turns into a Corvette with like flames on the hood. And like the best thing about that toy, it was an unintended thing back in the day. But like when you transformed him at the back of the car, his back trunk rolls over and his head's basically in the trunk.
Oh, okay.
And then his arms come out where the tires are, and he's got these little wings that you could pop up on his back that were right behind the tires. And what I used to love doing back in the day with the kid is I would roll out his arms and stick him to his sides and then push the wings out and say that the car could fly.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I fucking loved that. And then eventually they adapted that, I think, into the cartoon because that's the way kids were playing with it.
Yeah, okay.
So he had like a Gerwalk form, which is a Robotech slang for like half and half. But that was just, I fucking loved that toy. I thought it was great.
And whereas the stuff I played with back in the day, like were like Jurassic Park toys and G.I. Joe. And I didn't get very many of the humans for the Jurassic Park. I would get the dinosaurs and then just make them fight the G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And then I'd get aliens and predators, because that was back in the day when they would take an R-rated movie and make toys out of it for children. And parents would buy those said toys for their children, because why not?
Yeah.
So I didn't buy many of the Marines or whatever for the aliens. Instead, I just bought the aliens and had them fight the G.I. Joe, because I had a butt ton of G.I. Joe. So we'd have like little G.I. Joe and like the fucking alien. They were like wrecking their shit. It was fun.
So your G.I. Joe were the Colonial Marines?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's straight up awesome. I love that.
Yeah. That's my G.I. Joes were my humans. So whenever a thing came out that I enjoyed, like I like Congo, and I remember getting like some of the Congo apes. Just like, what the fuck?
Good monkey. I fucking hate that movie.
I do like that movie just because it's amusing to me. But I also didn't know who Bruce Campbell was back in the day, so that I wasn't angry like you were for that. But they came up with Congo toys.
I don't believe it was Bruce Campbell. What? No, he dies at the beginning of the movie, doesn't he? Yeah. But then I think they take out Tim Curry too.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin Congo for people, but no one cares about Congo. But still, I think a lot of people haven't seen Congo. Therefore, talking about it, no one's either no one's going to know what we're talking about, or it's going to be like, maybe I was going to watch that movie. I don't want to do it. It's go watch Congo if you want.
I'm just glad Bruce Campbell got a paycheck on it, man.
Yeah. So I had like those little monkeys, and then I could have the monkeys fight the dinosaurs.
Okay.
Or the monkeys fight the people, or whatever.
I mean, that's cool. Like I said.
So I would piecemeal toys together and I would get like the thing that's different. Because I had like some stuff I gave to like when James and Becky's kid was a little older. I had all my old stuff and I just gave it to him because he was like the one young male child that might actually enjoy some of my stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And when she was Becky was looking through some of it, and she's like, "What are these things?" And they're like little skeletons. I'm like, "Oh, those are skeleton warriors." I never got any of the people. It was like an old cartoon I didn't even really watch all that much of. But there was like a human faction and like just a skeleton faction. And I'm like, I don't need the human faction. I just need the skeletons. Because then I had the skeletons fight the G.I. Joe or the dinosaurs or whatever.
Interesting. I don't know if I know what that is.
YouTube, the opening to Skeleton Warriors. It's kind of metal.
Okay.
I'll show you after this.
I saw like a thing the other day called Mummies Alive, and apparently that was
dope too.
Yeah, it was apparently that was one that like hit hard back in the day. That was when I was out of it.
I've thought about trying to track it down again to see, was it fun because I was a kid, or was it good? And I don't know. This movie strikes me as one that's fun when you're a kid. And if you watch it when you're a kid, it's probably still fun. I didn't watch it when I was a kid, and it is not. I mean, it's about trucks and vehicles and stuff I'm not interested in yet still. So it's not a thing that's going to catch on with me.
That's fine. Like, I didn't expect you to. Like, literally, I was running out of things to ask you to watch, and I wanted to talk about it. And I know we haven't talked a bunch about the movie.
It's about Transformers in general. Because, I mean, for the most part, this is a toy commercial, which is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, cartoons as toy commercials is not a big deal. If they're giving you enough to keep your kids entertained.
I mean, everything technically is a commercial.
Sure. I mean, you go watch Star Wars and it's a commercial for the toy. Yeah.
You watch The Office and then you go out and buy the Funko Pops or like the fucking mug that says Best Boss.
Yeah.
I know people at work who have the fucking like.
It's a different style of merch. I mean, I'm wearing a fucking merch shirt.
Yeah. Everything that you watch for entertainment is made to sell you something, and anyone who tells you differently is trying to sell you something as well. So
it depends. I don't think the artist. Like the Oscar-winning movie is trying to sell something. It's trying
to sell you tickets.
You know, it's trying to win an award.
Sure, but it's also trying to make you buy tickets to see the movie and make you buy the DVD.
Maybe.
And maybe the soundtrack.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about the soundtrack to the artist. If it was even attempting to sell your soundtrack.
I mean, a movie has to be like really fucking crazy niche to get an Oscar nod. Most of those movies go in there and make like millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Oscar-ish movies because they seem like, man, look how great my acting is, and I don't care enough about acting. The only type of acting I notice is bad acting. Anything better than bad, it's good enough for me. So when people make like a movie like, man, Tom Hanks transforms himself in this movie. I mean, he's Tom Hanks to me. Mm-hmm. I know he's a character. I'm not going to lose that level of immersion. Therefore, anytime I go into a movie, I have to give up some semblance of like, I'm just going to go into it and watch it as a movie.
Okay.
Because I know that's Tom Hanks. I'm not going to believe, oh, he transformed into it. No, that's not going to happen for me. He's Tom Hanks. So watching someone do like these roles to be like, man, look at what kind of range I can get as an actor. I'm like, that's cool. Movie wasn't good. Maybe make an entertaining movie instead of showing me your range. I don't care about your range. You're Tom Hanks. I know who Tom Hanks is.
Sure, I can agree with you to an extent. Like, what's the guy's name? Daniel Day-Lewis. Mm-hmm. Like, that dude is, like, apparently something else when it comes to, like, getting into character. Mm-hmm. Let There Be Blood was a great movie, but I'm not going to ask you to watch it because I know you're probably not going to dig it. But, like, apparently this guy's so method that, like, he becomes the character. And you have to push yourself. Like, I'll do voices for you guys, but I won't do voices for other people because I'm kind of in my head on it. Mm-hmm. And this dude, like, apparently whenever he becomes whatever he is, he just goes balls out. So there's, like, no id there, like, making him wonder if, like, is this cool? Do people like it? I can get behind someone who completely immerses themselves into a character. It's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I like method acting because if the character's a dick and you're walking around the fucking set being a dick to people.
Yeah, like Jared Leto was in Suicide Squad or whatever, reportedly.
Yeah.
Sending people like dead mice or whatever. And it's like, dude, this is just a job to me. Stop it.
Yeah. I'm not so much about that, but I can let myself go when I watch a movie and like basically go with whatever they're trying to portray me. Mm-hmm. Like when I was watching Battlestar Galactica, like I didn't think of Starbuck as
Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff. Like she was basically Starbuck to me.
It's the first thing you've seen her in.
Yes.
I think that's easier when I don't know a person. But if and a lot of times like these I don't know, the Oscar movies or whatever where someone's going to to transform themselves. It's a bigger actor trying to show that they've got range. But it's too late. I know that person.
What about Rosario Dawson as Ashoka?
It looks like Rosario Dawson to me. Ahsoka is Ashley Eckstein.
The actor?
The voice actor.
Yes, the voice actor,
Yeah.
but like her as the character.
Looks like Rosario Dawson in a Ahsoka outfit.
Okay.
I mean, it's good. It looks good. I like the way she's playing Ahsoka, but it's still, I see Rosario Dawson in it.
What about Mary Elizabeth Winstead as, I think she's going to be the
As Hera?
Twilight pilot. Yeah, Hera.
I don't know that I know her as an actress that well, but I know Hera. Therefore, it's not really going to be Hera. It's going to be someone portraying Hera.
You don't see what's her name from Scott Pilgrim? You don't see Ramona?
I've not seen enough of it. Like I know that someone's cast as Sabine. I've not seen them doing it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to look like Hera and Sabine to me. They're going to look like people portraying the live action version of them.
Sure. Okay.
And
okay.
Me watching any movie is going to take some. I have to try to pull my. I'm always going to be out of it a little bit. Because I mean, I know it's a movie. I know some people like get super serious about like I've got to stay immersed, which is why one reason when we play D&D, I'm not necessarily super immersed in it all the time. Mm. So I know it's a game.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's.
But it's fun to pretend. But
I like doing voices and stuff like that just so I can escape being this voice and this person for like a while. And sometimes I feel stupid doing voices at the table with you guys because like nobody else is doing a voice and I'm doing it by myself. So I'm just like,
if it helps you get to do the voice, it doesn't help me.
It helps me enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm wanted to be an actor in real life. This is probably about the closest I'm going to get to it. So.
Meow meow meow. Time for the meows.
All right. But I mean, we don't have to talk much longer. I mean, I already got 56 minutes out of you on this.
Is there more Transformer stuff you want to gush on real quick, or?
Not really. The movie is good. It was basically a commercial to sell toys, but it had the unintended effect of devastating a fucking legion of children when you straight up murked fucking Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And
which is probably why it's a 4 for me rather than like a 3 or whatever. It's because like this movie goes hard. It's about shit I know nothing about, but at the beginning, I knowing the little bit about like them just gunning down Transformers, I'm like, man, this is some kid back in the 80s is fucking devastated right now, and it's funny as shit.
Still me. There's a special you can find, I think Vice did or something like that, where they went out and talked to like a bunch of kids that went back and saw Transformers, and like there were people who were like, they were fucking devastated, and I was one of them, man. I cried, and I still to this day, when I watch the Optimus Prime death scene, I still get a little misty.
You know who the real devastator is? It's Hasbro for murdering all the Autobots.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't understand why you need to kill the characters to reintroduce new characters. Just fucking go to another area of the fucking planet, or like go back to Cybertron and just do another story. You know, it's the Luke Skywalker stuff. You don't have to just do everything Star Wars as Luke Skywalker. They did the Old Republic and all this other stuff, and people fucking loved it.
Yeah, I like the Old Republic more than the Skywalker era because I like fucking Jedi, and I want there to be a fuck ton of Jedi running around. That's the stuff I enjoy. That's why I like the prequels.
Yeah,
it's because there's a fuck ton of Jedi running around doing shit.
But I mean, this movie had like Weird Al in it.
So the soundtrack is, I don't know, good songs, but like, why the fuck is there Dare to Be Stupid in this movie?
Because the Junkions are fucking crazy.
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't help sell the scene as anything but silly.
See, I thought it was great.
It's silly.
I thought it was great because the Junkions are just fucking weird.
And we got the touch 3 times.
It's fine. Stan Bush is God. It's fine. And Lion was awesome. They did the fucking opening, the theme song. It's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Move along. What I was going to say, and I got off track, was they established that there was a spark, which was the soul.
Yep.
Optimus Prime died. He turned gray because his fucking spark died. Ultra Magnus blew up, but he still had coloration, which I don't understand how you fucking lived through that. Because somewhere in my memory, and it's probably wrong, but in my memory, I thought the fucking sweeps like did this laser lasso around his arms and legs and fucking quartered him.
No, they shot him like a missile and blew the fuck up.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure that's what it was. But for some reason in my mind, I still see them fucking drawing quartering him. But like they pulled him apart, he still retained his color. Then the Junkion just stuck his ass back together like a Gundam model.
Done. Boop, boop.
Yeah, stuck him back together like a Gundam model. Gave him a fresh coat of fucking. They shined him up with some wax.
Just done that for all the Transformers and the shit that blew up. Just gonna go back and go burp, 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 and stick the little shit back on. Like, there we go.
Yeah, but holes in them are different, but like you actually see Magnus blow up, and like he just comes apart.
Yeah, he was in. Where's Ultra Magnus? Oh, there he is. There he is. There he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put them back together.
It's weird. I don't know. I'm not sure. But like I think Magnus was a Next Generation toy that came out too. He might have been like a later half of the second generation or something like that. But he was Optimus Prime with a trailer that went around him that made him huge. So he was kind of a shitty toy. Because his head was a separate piece that you just went and stuck on fucking top of Optimus' head. So it was not a great toy. But it was great when you wanted to fucking put all your fucking Transformers on them and like roll them around and shit. So... which brings up another question, like, why do they need to be hauled around in a trailer?
So, why do you need a ship? I guess is that maybe take less energy than going there yourself? Because, I mean, it's not like they breathe in space.
Autobots can't fly.
Are they flying around? Or is it the Decepticons?
Decepticons can fly.
Well, then, like, I thought, like, when they came out, some of the Transformers were just, like, flying around.
They came out of what?
I don't know, like, when their city was under attack or something like that, a few of them showed up and were like, it's time to go. And they just went... I thought it was Autobots. Maybe it wasn't.
No, Autobots can't fly. Decepticons can fly. And then later on, the Autobots made the aerial bots, which were planes, and then they were able to fly. And then you had, you can't see them up there, but then you had Jetfire, which was basically a direct rip of a fucking Macross fucking Veritech. And then they got sued. And then they changed him ever so slightly. But like he had like a jet booster on him, so in his robot form he could still fly, stuff like that. But yeah, Autobots can't fly. Okay. They could just kind of walk around and roll around.
I thought I remember some scenes of them flying, like a little bit, like gliding or some jet.
Yeah, Autobots have land superiority, Decepticons have air superiority, and then they both do pretty well on the ocean because they both have like bots and shit, and then. You had the Decepticons had Astrotrain, which was an space shuttle, and then the Autobots got Cosmos, which is a straight up UFO, round with the little fucking dome on the top.
I think the real people who have ocean supremacy is the Sharkatrons.
Sharktacons. Sure.
Okay.
But they're dumb. They're dumber than the fucking they're dumber than the Dinobots.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So, all right, we're done here.
Which I guess leaves one final question.
All
right, Lance. Have you seen Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
No.
All right. So, a little different. It's a TV series. I'm going to make you watch 3 episodes, which is about the length of a movie.
Okay.
And then I'm going to ask you from there, like, is this a show that you would keep watching? Or is it like 3 episodes and you'll be done? Like, I'll never see this again. But this is a show... produced by Tina Fey, and I know you've mentioned liking 30 Rock to me, and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and 30 Rock are technically in the same universe.
Okay.
Where 30 Rock introduces some crazy ass shit like what's the page's name? Kenneth. That's apparently some immortal being or something like that. That sort of. It's mostly reality, but there's a few things in there that are just fucking stupid.
Okay.
So Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is mostly real, but there's some stuff in it that's just kind of like stupid and doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
So we'll watch 3 episodes of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. If you want to watch along, watch 3 episodes and then think to like, when it comes time for questions, like, is this a show that you watch 3 episodes of and you were like fucking done? Or is it you watch 3 episodes of and you were in?
Well, there was one other piece that we skipped too that I want to roll back to.
Okay. We're transform and roll back?
Yes. Transformers.
Roll back.
So, IMDb.
Oh, right.
What do you think the IMDb score was for this movie?
6.5.
Yeah, 7.2.
Okay.
Pretty close, though. Pretty close. You had it within 0.10. All right. Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think the critics gave this movie?
53.
62.
Okay.
Close. Also, again, within 10. What do you think the audience gave this?
81.
You've been within 10 in every single guess. 88.
Okay.
So, pretty good.
So I figure if you're a critic and you have to go watch this movie, you're probably not super into it. But if you're a fan that went to watch this movie, you're probably super into it.
I just want to know how many critics were like, Orson Welles, this should be a good movie.
Orson Welles, Leonard Nimoy, let's go see what this is.
The Transformers, how interesting. And then at the beginning, Transformers! And they're just like, the fuck have I done to myself? So
what is this?
Yeah.
It's like a new movie came out for kids. Go see if it's good for kids and let us know. It's not good. If you're a kid, you'll like it. If you're a parent, suck it up.
Yeah. That's That's how I feel when I watch the ASMR videos with Jackson. I'm just like,
Yep, it's a movie you're there for the kids. Then that's why Pixar thing took off. It's because it was fun for kids and fun for the parents to watch it. And I think this is a show that's fun for the kids. And the kid, if you're a grown-up kid, maybe.
Wait a minute. So now that you've asked me to watch the first 3 episodes of a TV series, does that mean I can ask you to watch the first 3 episodes of Bluey?
Sure, if you want.
Comment down below if you want to see that.
Except Amber, because she's going to say yes.
And she's going to be one. It's a done deal. But, all right. I think we're done here. I didn't gush as much as I wanted to on Transformers, the movie, because I think it's a movie that everyone should see. So I would definitely recommend it. And, show it to your kids before they fall in love with any of the Transformers, and it won't be so fucking, it won't stab their fucking dreams.
So if you're an adult and you've never seen Transformers before, I'd say you could skip it. If you've got kids, maybe this is the thing that's going to get them into it, and maybe show it to your kids. Yeah. Just maybe show this one first before they love the Transformers, so that they're not traumatized when they're blown up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a horrifying thing for me. I remember leaving the theater crying.
But you know what that would lead to, Lance? People thinking that Rodimus Prime is the best Prime.
Not my prime. Nope.
You were right. You are not in your prime.
So I'm going to do Transformer Toys reviews, and I've decided that my name on the channel is going to be Suboptimal Prime Rib.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better get it before it's taken.
But it's gone now. But all right. Well, thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See ya. And roll out.